Do you think that saving money is impossible if you are living paycheck to paycheck? Do you think emergency fund is only for the wealthy people? Well, the answer is no. This is Mayur, and I'm gonna show you in this video how you can generate your first $1,000 for your emergency fund if you are living paycheck to paycheck. There is no crazy sacrifices, not selling your Netflix password to your friend. Just simple and smart steps to follow with and build your security. In this video, we will talk about what is an emergency fund, how much fund do you need, how you can generate your first $1,000 in a just very four simple steps, and what not to do with the emergency fund. So let's start it. So let's see first what is an emergency fund and why do you need it. I consider emergency fund as your financial safety net. Without that, you might fall into the pothole of debts, and from where it is very hard to climb from. Without emergency fund, you might end up taking a personal loan from a bank at a very high interest rate, or you might take you might borrow some money from your friend, and without paying on time, you might ruin your relationship. Emergency fund is for your ooh and ah moments. For example, uh, any sudden emergency medical bill shows up, or your car breaks down, or your refrigerator start acting up. To add more to that, emergency don't wait for your payday. It generally hits you when your wallet is emptier than your Monday morning motivation. In general, I consider emergency fund as a smart cap for your money. It is not flashy, but it is life saving. So let's see how much emergency fund you need. The expert says that 3 to 6 months of expenses is minimum for your emergency fund, and for most of the people, this sounds like climbing the Mount Everest. It's, it's scary, right? But don't sweat it. My personal recommendation is that you should generate your emergency fund at least for a minimum 6 months to maximum for a year, so you don't need to worry in the very worst case. And here, I would like to make one thing very clear. Don't confuse your emergency fund in terms of your needs and wants. For example, your credit card bill comes around 2000 bucks a month, but that includes your needs as well as the wants. While calculating the emergency fund for your need, I would subtract the your want related expenses from your credit card bill so that you can have more accurate number of your emergency fund. Start small. You should aim for your first 500 or $1,000 for your emergency fund. You call this as a emergency coffee fund. I'm sorry, this is not for your daily double coffee. This is only for your real emergencies. This fund can save you from drowning into debts when life throws you a curveball. Now let's see four simple steps to make your first $1,000 for your emergency fund. Step 1 is track and control your cash flow. Imagine a person who wants to lose some weight, but he is not ready to go on the scale. That's silly, right? This is what happens with most of the people when it is related to money. They want to save some money, but they don't know where does that money go. Your emergency fund saving journey begins with one thing, and that is awareness. Track all of your expenses. Yes, all of them. Some people might use digital applications on phone that is available throughout the internet. Some people might be the old school, they can use pen and paper. My personal recommendation is Spandy, and the link is in the description. You can go for that. It's very simple to use, and I have been using it for many years. But here is the rule, you track down everything. Yes, that $2 coffee that you took in your lunch break, that $5 energy drink that you had taken at the gas station, even the 99-cent subscription that you had taken 6 months ago and that you hadn't used it. Because small numbers of leaks sink the big ships. Let me share a personal story. So, when I started tracking down my expenses, I realized that I used to spend around 70 bucks just for the snacks from convenience stores. And yes, that is different than my Netflix subscription, my gym membership, which I hardly use. When you track down your expenses, you will start noticing the trends. or the patterns. Maybe your morning coffee sums up as 40 bucks a month. Maybe your occasionally Uber Eats sums up as $100 a month. Maybe some of your Amazon deals that you had taken sums up as $200 a month. So here is the mindset shift. It is not about the guilt, but it is about clarity. You can't save money if you don't see it. Now, once you have tracked expenses for your month, you can see three different categories: needs, where you use your money for your rent, for your groceries, and necessary bills; some wants, for eating out, subscription, or your for your hobbies; and the most important is your leaks, some impulse buying or the stuff you forget about. Cutting the leaks alone can save you $150 to $200 a month, and that approximately more than $2,000 a year. See how we are reaching close to our target for our first thousand? Step number two: set up the automation. While some people will think that why do we need to set up an automation in finance? But here is the one thing that nobody wants to admit, that relying on willpower does not help. We will think that we will save the money at the end of the month, but we all know that nothing is left over at the end of the month. And that's why we need automation. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to a saving account, ideally the one that you don't see very often. You must start with $10 a week, $20 a week, or $50 a week. This generally adds up faster than you think. Let's see an example. A $20 a week, that's $80 a month, and that is $960 per year. And this is almost $1,000 that we want to generate for our emergency fund. Here is the reason why does it work. It removes you from the equation. Just think about that. Brushing our teeth is not exciting, but we still do it automatically. The same with the money. We don't think about that, we just do it. Here is the bonus hack: name your saving account with something fun. Instead of simple saving account number 2, name it like emergency shield or peace of mind fund. Every time you see it, you get a kind of motivation that you are adding some money every day in your emergency fund. With automation, you just don't hope for saving. You are saving without thinking. Step number 3: cut and redirect your expenses. Now let's talk about one of the hardest part, cutting the expenses. Don't worry, I'm not gonna tell you to live into the cave or give everything joy you have in your life. It is not about cutting everything, but it is about cutting strategically. Pick one. Cut down your one expenses. Not 20, not 10, not 5, just one. For example, brew your morning coffee at your home daily instead of buying from Tim Hortons. This will save you more than 60 bucks a month. Pack lunch from your home itself instead of eating out. You are saving more than 60 bucks a week. Cancel a subscription that you hadn't used for so long, and that will save around 30 bucks a month. We just saw that cutting only 3 expenses that you can easily switch over can save you good amount of money per week, and if you multiply, that's almost that you wanted in your emergency fund. A friend of mine just decided to skip Uber Eats couple of times in a week, and you cannot imagine he saved more than $600 in 6 months. And guess what? He got a car repair, he paid 600 bucks a cash, and he lived stress free. Here is the thing: cutting is not like punishment. You are not giving up a joy, you are just cutting the waste. And here is the sneaky pro tip: if you cut down an expenses, instead of putting that money into your checking account, immediately move that amount to your saving emergency fund, because we both know that at the end of the month it will vanish if it is there. Remember, every 5 or $10 a week is like building a block of your safety net. Step number 4: boost with windfalls and extra cash. Here is the step where you can hit the turbo button in building your emergency fund. Use windfalls. What is windfalls? Windfall is something extra that comes in your account and that wasn't part of your paycheck. For example, tax refund, side hustle income, your yearly bonus, or selling the stuff that you hadn't used for so long. Here is the deal. If you think this money as fun money, it will disappear. But if you think this as an emergency fund, you will build it within the half time. For example, I had gotten more than $5,000 in my tax refund couple of years ago. Old me would have bought gadgets, but new me put that money into the emergency fund. After a couple of months, my car broke down and I had to change my brakes and calipers, and that cost me more than $3,000. Did I panic? No. I paid the cash and I moved on. That's the luxury of having emergency fund. Let's take a challenge. Look into your house right now and find something that you hadn't used it for very long, like your old phone, unused gym equipment, or dusty treadmill. Sell it. Even $100 or $200 can go to your safety net right away. Remember, saving is not always cutting. It might be redirecting the money that you had not ever expected. Now let's see where we can keep this money that we have gathered over the period of time. I would keep it safe and accessible because we will have to use it in case of an emergency that shows up at any time. In my personal opinion, putting our emergency fund in any high interest saving account would be the best choice. Likewise, some of my emergency fund has been parked in EQ Bank with a high interest saving account that gives me more than $60 a month, and that's a free money, right? I can buy an iPhone with that if I have enough emergency fund. It is like a piggy bank that pays you interest over a period of time, and that is without the risk of your little cousin smashing it. But make sure you don't use this fund to buy a 50-inch TV. Now let's see what we should not do with our emergency fund. Don't confuse with your emergency fund as your vacation fund or maybe I want a new phone fund. Keep it sacred. Do not use it until you really need it. And if you need to use it because it is there only for the emergency fund. But make sure you put that money back once you get some. Remember, digging into the emergency fund is not the failure. It is like your fire extinguisher. Better to have it. Now let's see why I think building the emergency fund changes our life. Well, this is not all about saving the money, it is peace of mind. We know that we are well protected with our fund that is parked in our saving account if life throws a curveball. When I built my emergency fund, I went from anxious to confident, and that feelings were very priceless. So let's recap. In this video, we saw what is an emergency fund and why do we need to generate it, how we can generate our emergency fund just by following four simple steps, how much emergency fund we need and where we can put it to grow, and the last, what we should not do with the emergency fund. Hit like, share, and subscribe, especially comment how much emergency fund you have gathered, and share this video to your friend if you think he needs to start building emergency fund. This is Money with Mayur. See you next time.